Emma was a quiet girl with a head full of dreams and a heart full of questions. She lived in a small town where the nights were clear and the sky was always full of stars. While other children played with dolls or built castles from blocks, Emma liked to lie on her back in the soft grass, stare up at the sky, and listen. Listen to what? That's the curious part. Emma believed the stars whispered. Not loudly, not in words, but in a way she could almost feel, like a gentle tickle behind her ears or a tug at her thoughts. She never told anyone about the whispering stars. Not her parents, not her teacher, not even her cat, Marbles. It was her secret, a quiet magic that only appeared at night, just before sleep, when the world was still and full of wonder. Every evening, she'd finish her dinner, brush her teeth, hug her parents goodnight, and climb into bed with Marbles curled at her feet. Then, as the moon rose and the stars twinkled into view, she would pull back her curtain, rest her chin on the windowsill, and wait. And then, the stars would begin to whisper. Not in sentences, not even in proper words, but in hums and glows and tiny dances across the sky. Each twinkle seemed like a note in a song just for her. Emma tried once to copy the song on her toy piano, but it wasn't quite right. Stars don't follow sheet music. One night, when the stars were extra sparkly and the moon looked like it had been dipped in silver, Emma heard something different. A single word, clear and soft and floating on the breeze. Come. Emma sat up in bed, heart thumping. Had she imagined it? She opened the window wider. The stars above shimmered, then pulsed gently, as if winking. Again, the whisper came. Come, Emma. This time, it wasn't just in her ears. It was inside her. In her thoughts. In her breath. She slipped out of bed, grabbed Marbles, and tiptoed to her closet. She found her softest sweater, her warm socks, and her red scarf with the tiny silver stars. As soon as she stepped outside, the night air wrapped around her like a blanket. Cool, but kind. The stars above were brighter than ever, and something strange was happening. They were moving. Not like falling stars. Not random. They were swirling. Dancing. Forming a spiral, like a giant glowing staircase that reached down to the ground, ending right in front of her garden gate. Emma gasped. The stars had made a path. She didn't hesitate. With Marbles tucked safely in her arms, she stepped onto the first glowing stair. It didn't feel like a stair at all. It was warm and soft, like stepping on music. She took another step. And another. And with each step, she rose higher into the sky. Past the rooftops. Past the treetops. Past the owls and clouds and floating dreams of sleeping children. The world below grew quiet. And ahead, something marvelous came into view. It was a floating island, hanging in the sky, surrounded by glowing rings of light. A garden in the stars. Trees with silver leaves lined the edge. Moss glowed like candles. And in the center stood a telescope taller than any Emma had ever seen. And beneath it, waiting, stood a figure. She was tall and kind-looking, with hair that shimmered like moonlight and eyes that twinkled like galaxies. "Hello, Emma," she said, smiling. Emma's voice was tiny. "Are you a star?" The woman laughed, a soft sound like wind through chimes. "I'm called Astra," she said. "I'm a star listener." "A what?" "We listen to what stars say when people are too busy to hear." Emma's eyes widened. "I try to listen." Astra's smile grew. "We know. That's why we called you." She led Emma through the starlit garden, past plants that glowed and flowers that opened only when you sang to them. Then they reached the giant telescope. "This," said Astra, "is the whisper scope. It lets you not only hear the stars, but speak to them." Emma blinked. "The stars speak back?" "They do. But only to those who truly listen with their heart." Astra motioned to the seat beneath the telescope. Emma sat, still holding marbles, who purred contentedly. The whisper scope began to hum. Slowly, the stars above started to shift again, aligning into strange, beautiful shapes, words made of light. And then Emma heard it. A song. Not a human song. Not a lullaby. A song of distances. Of dreams. Of quiet. Of time. It was beautiful. And then came a message. Soft. Gentle. Right into her mind. You are not small. You are a spark. You are seen. Emma felt her heart grow warm. Her eyes sparkled. She turned to Astra. "They know me?" "They do," Astra said. "Each night, when you listen, they listen back." Emma looked up at the swirling sky. "Can I talk to them?" Astra nodded. Emma took a breath, closed her eyes, and thought deeply, gently, with all her heart. "Thank you." The stars responded at once, a soft glow, a brighter twinkle, a swirl like a happy dance. And then another whisper, softer than ever. "Come again." Emma sat in silence, full of wonder. Astra knelt beside her. "The world is noisy, but the stars are always there, whispering. You only have to pause and listen." Emma hugged marbles. "I will. Every night." Astra smiled and handed Emma a small glass marble. Inside it shimmered a tiny galaxy. "Keep this," she said. "It's a memory and a key. It will glow when the stars call you again." Emma placed the marble in her pocket and stood up. The spiral staircase of stars appeared once more. She turned to Astra. "Will I see you again?" Astra nodded. "When the stars whisper your name." Emma stepped onto the first stair. Then the second. And down, down, gently down she went. Until her feet touched her garden again. The night was quiet. The stars twinkled like they always had. But now, Emma knew their secret. She climbed back through her window, slipped into bed, and placed the glowing marble on her nightstand. It twinkled softly, like a tiny star had followed her home. Marbles curled up beside her, warm and content. Emma closed her eyes, And this time, when the stars whispered, she whispered back,